Hey everybody, what's up? It's Total Wars here, and I'm here once again playing as Chimeria in a 4v4 city defense, the city of Bertigala. It's a very common PvP map, though it's mostly known for its sallies because of the open expanses and the great gate for a sally back here. Out this back gate here. Now, I know I've been doing a ton of sallies because I do like to get away from the normal siege battle, but this one's not a full sally like my last few have been. So y'all are probably like, yeah, thank goodness we're tired of the sallies, the constant leaving of the wall. So for the first of the attackers, we're gonna have Syracuse, and he's gonna have two Greek Ongers here. And the first one already burning there from fire from the walls. Second shot just misses. Here we got some Thurio spears up front with some mercenary Balearic slingers. And then some mercenary Samnite warriors. Sorry, I forgot they had those. Pig toplights, more Thurio spears, and I assume his army extends there into the woods. For some reason, even on replays, you can't see hidden units, so it gets kind of frustrating. Then we have Egypt, the Egyptian infantry up front. 4 units of Egyptian infantry flanked by 2 thorax swords on the right side there. Then the back on the rear line, we do have some more thorax swords up for a general. We're going to have a royal thorax swordsman. We do have a Greek giant ballista up front, backed by some Nubian bowmen. And again, I do assume his army extends into the woods, so if we see some more units of his later. For Seleucid, we're going to have 3 thorax swords here. And then along here is thorax swords, 4 thorax swordsmen right there. And then some Greek giant ballista, as well as 2 more thorax swordsmen on the siege towers. Up front for Seleucid, we're going to have some hillmen. Level 2 chevron hillman here with another thorax swordsman. I mean, he just went totally thorax. But with low funds, you kind of have to do that since it's like a $710 unit. So it's kind of like a necessity. Then for Galatia, we're going to have mercenary Syrian archers, 3 mercenary Syrian archers. We got 2 Celtic skirmishers, and then 3 Galatian legionnaires, as well as over here, way over here, a giant ballista. Celtic giant ballista, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, backed by some Galatian spears. Just guarding that from a cav attack. Over here we got Lusitani for the attackers, sallying with 2 Iberian swords, backed by Massilia. Massilia. The Massilian cav, that's a heavy shock cavalry, or medium melee cavalry, sorry. It's the Massilian cavalry. I thought that was shock cav, apparently not. What am I thinking of here? I must be thinking of companion cavalry. I think, does Massilia have companion cavalry? I think they do. Anyway, up here we're going to have Massilia, some mercenary Gallic hunters, very deadly archer unit up on that crest, kind of going to be shooting down into the main fight. And then over here, no? Oh, they're all right here. I am blind. Celtic warriors, 3 Celtic warriors along here, as well as thorax swords. Got some Celtic warriors up front, as well as some Massilian Thurio spears, backed by some Levy Freeman and hoplites, or hoplites. Back over here, we have 3 more thorax swords that I didn't mention there. And that's it for Massilia. Oh wait, we got another hoplite unit right here. Hoplite, however you want to say it. Then for Lusitani, we're going to have on the walls a Balearic slinger as well as an Iberian sword. Then here, 2 Iberian swords, 3 Iberian swords, a Balearic slinger, 2 more veteran shield warriors. Veteran shield. Lusitani noble, and 2 more Balearic slingers. So as you have already probably noticed, it's not 124 rules. It's just anything goes, and that is why we had 2 artillery already for Syracuse, and now we got 5 archers here for Chimeria, 6 archers here. And these are not just any archers. These are the Chimerian heavy archers. These are the best archers in the game. So they're going to be a very deadly threat. So we got 6 of those. as well as 3 Cimmerian double infantry. It's a very heavy not shock. I'm thinking of cavalry here. Very heavy spear infantry. It's very deadly. And then here, these are going to look like heavy infantry, but they're actually just militia hoplites, which is a heavy infantry, but it's going to break pretty quick. There's only 3 of those right there. 2 more right here, I believe. Yeah, militia hoplites, militia hoplites, militia hoplites, militia hoplites, militia hoplites. Yeah. So the rest of his Cimmerian's army is just going to consist of militia hoplites. And then we have Araverni, who I've not yet went over. We got the Celtic warriors firing some javelins into the backs of the thorax swords who are attacking the militia hoplites there, as well as the Thurio spears also firing their javelins there. But Araverni in the back here are going to have chosen swords, just a ton of chosen swordsmen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those so far. Up here, another naked warrior, I was going to say another Celtic warrior. Now here's a Celtic warrior, 2 more Celtic warriors right there, some Gallic hunters. So 1, 2, 3 Gallic hunters I see. I spy with my little eye 3 Gallic hunters, believe it or not. And then yet another Celtic warrior up here, up front here, helping fire some javelins into the Egyptian infantry, who's just gonna pelt those militia hoplites with javelins before charging in. And the militia hoplites are gonna hold under the Egyptian infantry charge. They have a charge bonus of 8, so nothing special there. Gonna get backed by some other militia hoplites, some more allies, and then up here we got a arrow tower just firing into the ranks. Okay, so Syracuse here, shifting over with his 3 mercenary Samnite warriors, which is probably the most deadly part of his army. 3 mercenary Samnite warriors are probably the most deadly. I mean, he's got Thurio spears. They're not great hand-to-hand once they lose their javelin volleys, but they can be quite effective with their javelin volleys. So if he can get the javelins off right, he's got a deadly force here. But if not, those Thurio spears are going to be pretty useless. But he has already used his entire Greek Onger force, all the ammunition. Here, only 17 kills between the 2 of them. So, Greek Onger, it's a moving Onger, so it's a more expensive unit. I believe it's like 1,300 or something. It costs like the same amount as an Oathsworn. And he got 17 kills for those 2 units and didn't even make a breach in the walls. It looks like he spent most of his ammunition destroying the wall ballistas. So yeah, probably a waste of ammo. Now here, we do have some Thurio spears getting put to work. Looks like they fired 1 round in the side of those militia hoplites, who are actually holding against the Egyptian infantry. Got 1 on the route now, or with red morale. Now it's going back up to yellow. But it's holding against 2 Egyptian infantry and a Hillman, an experienced Hillman unit, and got 1 Egyptian infantry with red morale. Those 2 militia hoplites holding quite well. However, now we do have some heavy Syrian archers, mercenary Syrian archers, and these will do some serious damage from this angle because they'll be firing into the backs of those militia hoplites. Yeah, that's a shield arm though, so it won't do quite as much damage because it's the shield arm. But essentially, though, it might be considered. No, it wouldn't be considered back far enough. You'd have to be like right here-ish, just in front of the siege tower to be firing into their backs. But there they go. They're going to start firing into the side of the militia hoplites, and that's just going to chew through those units really quick. I mean, they have heavy armor, but it ain't going to do much against a fire to the back like that. Here the Balearic Slingers have moved up, picking off some Nubian bowmen there. Just firing right into them. Now those Nubian bowmen are going to pull back. And it looks like some Egyptian infantry are going to move, maybe to throw some javelins into them? Don't know. Balearic Slingers got pretty good range. It looks like they're still throwing fire into those Nubian bowmen. But yeah, these Egyptian infantry, maybe he's trying to get them to throw javelin. I think he's trying, yeah, there we go. He's trying to get javelin volleys off, but because of the way this is built, it's going to be pretty ineffective. I mean, you'll get a few kills. These Balearic Slingers got swords out though. Only 16 kills. I believe he may have locked them into melee mode just to make them look empty. Yeah, here we go. Now the Balearic Slingers are opening fire on that infantry. That's more like them. Okay. Over here, we have the Militia Hoplites still holding here, but they have been backed by some Levy Freemen, and the Thurio Spears have now gotten into the fight, out of ammunition. They got 19 kills in the first few volleys. So like I said, he didn't use those volleys effectively enough, because those Thurio Spears are not great in hand-to-hand. So their volleys should have been used a bit more effective, but he was kind of firing into the wall. So I think he was like standing right here where this Egyptian infantry was and firing into the wall. I think that's why it mostly hit that rim there. So over here, Galatia is finally in. Is engaged. The Militia Hoplites putting up the first layer of defense here. Got a few, just kind of contesting the Galatian Legionnaires. Essentially just free kills, because those Galatian Legionnaires are just going to chew through those Militia Hoplites, who are just not good units at all. And the Militia Hoplites are just going to get beaten down. However, the Militia Hoplites are holding long enough to get the archer fire pouring in from some Cretan archers. Those are just going to fire right here to these Galatian Legionnaires, and the Galatian Legionnaires are going to turn and encircle a Militia Hoplite, and they're going to hit by some Celtic warriors there because they're depleted numbers. How many do they have? Well, not really depleted numbers, but I think that Celtic warrior will win because of some javelin fire aid coming from the flank here. Yeah, I think the Celtic warriors will win that just because they have a good charge. And then, yeah, they got that javelin fire helping them now. They're going to encircle. Nope, they're going to turn and fight those other Galatian Legionnaires, get that volleys in there from the Gallic Hunters, who have 34 kills. The Cretan mercenaries, not mercenaries, not Cretans. The Sumerian heavy archers have no kills there, but this one here that's been firing 17, so nothing extremely great. But yeah, okay, so firing into some Galatian Legionnaires, helping those Massilian Thurio Spears, who have 26 kills. They also are one that didn't get their javelins off too great, and they're not going to be great in hand-to-hand. They're very much like the Thurio Spears. So, yeah, so far, the defenders making no real progress, or the attackers haven't really gotten inside the walls, so no real progress so far. Now these Galatian or Celtic skirmishers going to go down 0 kills on both units, but those Thurio Spears just got to them and routed them entirely. Good job by Massilia to see that gap and get that done, because that is going to get rid of not a ton of money, because the Celtic skirmishers don't cost that much, but still, every kill counts, and especially skirmishers. Good skirmish advantage. I say it often. A skirmish advantage will win it, or is very helpful. Balearic Slingers, 73 kills and still firing, and they're going now into the mercenary Balearic Slingers from Syracuse, and just chewing through that unit. I mean, they're just knocking them down one after another. Wow. Okay. Looks like we got 2 thorax swords here. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, these are Egypt. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought that was Syracuse. I'm like, okay, I didn't see those thorax swords. I need to mention those. Now, that's Egypt. So, yeah, I think I already mentioned that. But they did pull up a few thorax out of the woods. If I looked correct, I mentioned his general. So, over here, the Galatian generals, Galatian noblemen backed by some Galatian spears. We still have this ballista over here. 0 kills, doing... So they broke a hole in the wall clear back here, which isn't much. But yeah, they broke a hole in the wall. Isn't that wonderful? Like, clear back where nobody is. They just randomly went and broke a hole in the wall. But really weird angle there. I guess he didn't want to make it obvious and put it like right here. I mean, I don't know, but he thought it's like clear up. He would have had to go clear over this cliff face right here. Clear up. A few of them weren't able to get around. They had to go like right through this gap into the walls. It's kind of a weird angle there, but we'll see what happens with that hole. Here, these Cimmerian archers now have turned and opened fire. 24 kills and climbing now as they fire into the thorax swords, who just got charged by the naked warriors. The naked warriors now at 36 kills, 37. So it's climbing a little bit. Now one Galatian legionnaire on the route as we have some thorax swords coming in there. The Celtic warriors offering some javelin help here as the Cimmerian heavy archers at 25 continue to fire down into that. The great use of Araverni by using their Celtic warriors and javelin ability to the total, the most it can be used. I mean, they are just devastating the enemy ranks with javelin volleys, and it's been quite effective so far as they've knocked off quite a few enemy attacks with with pretty much just the javelins. So between the militia hoplites from Cimmeria and the Celtic warriors of Massilia and Araverni, they've beaten back many assaults on the walls so far, as well as a few naked warriors that were open in the attack. In the defense, 58 kills there on those naked warriors. The Cimmerian heavy archers out of ammunition. These guys got a spear instead of a sword, so a bit more effective in hand-to-hand as far as like cavalry attacks. Because then it's like you waste the cav on the attack if you're already braced and stuff. You can do a little bit better. I mean, the archers are probably still going to lose because of their light armor. But yeah, and so that looks like they're only got 62 kills, so kind of disappointing there. Not used quite correctly for being the best archer unit in the game. The Cimmerian heavy archers now going to move up, maybe try to accept some ammunition from the enemy archers just to kind of burn it off. They're just going to stand there. Ooh. That Celtic warrior getting sandwiched, but 91 kills before it goes down. Now some archer fire coming from the Gallic hunters into the backs of those thorax. And the thorax aren't going to like that, despite being a heavy infantry, or very heavy melee infantry. Nobody likes a shot in the back. Here the Celtic warriors have beaten off the Syracusian Thurio spears, and 89 kills, about to rout those Thurio spears and hold the arrow tower, which is vital because the arrow tower is free kills. This Cimmerian heavy archer firing down into the Syrian heavies, and I don't think the Syrians notice it just yet. A few of them got swords out here. These ones got ammunition. These ones here on the far left appear to be out of ammo, and the ones in the back here are still firing. These ones were firing into the backs of the militia hoplites. They've got 105 and 123, as well as 5 on this back one. So this back one still has pretty much full ammunition, I can imagine. These ones here empty though. At 123. These ones still firing or still have ammo, and they're at 105, but they're taking a ton of fire from those Cimmerian heavy archers. Not Cimmerian heavy infantry, that's the spear infantry. Then the militia hoplites still holding, but not inflicting a ton of kills. I mean, no spear unit normally does inflict a ton of kills. I mean, spears normally don't get that many, but they're holding off against superior units. I mean, they've held off the Hillmen. I don't see... I see one Egyptian infantry left on the field, albeit it is very depleted. So they've beaten off a number of attacks from the Egyptian infantry as well as a few Hillmen. At least 2 Hillmen. I think I saw 4 Hillmen moving up siege towers. So at least I saw 1 in combat. So at least one of them died fighting militia hoplites. The militia hoplites getting their value in the fight, holding this little breach in the wall. While their allies hold the walls and keep the enemy from encircling them. It's good to use a cheap unit for that kind of work. Here the Cimmerian heavy archers, 71 kills on these ones here. I believe, was that the same ones? No, because the other ones had 61. No, I think that is the same unit. I think they went into melee and fought off a small unit that was still there. These Cimmerian heavy archers, 65 kills and climbing now as they continue to fight against those Syrians. So picking the ones that got ammunition here. It does look like they fired at the ones that didn't have ammo, possibly, which is kind of a waste. No. See, the ones that didn't have ammo, it looks like they might have unleashed 1 or 2 volleys, but they noticed it and stopped. So the ones that didn't have ammo, we didn't spend too much ammunition on them. However, somebody was shooting at the Nubian bowmen here, probably these Balearic slingers. They have been messing with Egypt and Seleucid's, or Syracusian lines this whole game so far. The Balearic slingers have been really putting their 2 cents in. 100 kills on this unit here and 27 on the other. So they are really making their mark on the enemy's ranks. Here we had some Cimmerian heavy archers. The Cimmerian heavy archers move up, it looked like. Is now the mercenary Syrians have pulled back. These ones still have ammo. This one out, I mentioned earlier. These still have ammunition, so they must have either seen it and pulled them back, or they routed and rallied just once they were out of range and not under fire anymore. Cimmerians moving up. Here we got Lusitani in here helping the militia hoplites with some javelin volleys, and good to use Lusitani for this because Lusitani is a very javelin heavy faction. I feel like they are very much on the projectiles. A lot of javelins. I think, do they carry more than 2 volleys? I think they carry more than 2 volleys because they make up for what they don't have in armor in their javelin volleys. Maybe not. I might be daydreaming right there. Just cheap Iberian swords throwing their volleys in there. I don't think they have more than 2 volleys. I think they just have 2 volleys like everybody else. They're just laymen, normal, nothing special. 80 kills on a militia hoplite here as it's beating back more and more attacks from the hillmen, but now taking suppressive javelin fire, or is that archer fire? It's archer fire from the Nubian bowmen, who are racking up the kills there, 61 and 78, as well as over here on the Balearic slingers, 81 and 14. So they're gonna pay for that. Here we got some Cimmerian heavy archers gonna fire into the Nubian bowmen right there. Took 4 men with that volley, I believe. 121 on the heavy archers, so they're really making their mark. These archers out of ammo, so no point firing on them. Now it looks like we've got some more thorax moving up here to scale the walls. And the cheap units for the defenders still in commission. Meanwhile, the heavy infantry from the attackers is still trying to breach the walls with their heavy infantry. They're more advanced units. You know, normally you try to take the walls with your hillmen, your Egyptian infantry, your Thurio spears. Now they're kind of out of those units, and they're sending up their heavy thorax swords, which is a very heavy melee infantry, mostly thorax. No Samnites moving up yet, but yeah, the thorax have moved up a little bit over here for Seleucid. There was some Galatian legionnaires earlier, they're not anymore. But yeah, and meanwhile, it's still Celtic warriors and naked warriors, very light infantry, still holding them off. Normally the units that are destroyed quite early in the game, and they're racking up the kills, 129 and 161 on those 2 Celtic warriors. This one here at 29, this one here at 34, and 58 for that naked warrior. Meanwhile, the Cimmerian heavy archers have 71, and looks like we got some more reinforcements here for the heavy archers at 84 kills. The Gallic hunters as well, 63. Still have ammunition, I believe. This unit here, the Cimmerian heavies, still have ammunition at 128 kills. So, moving around, the Balearic slingers still return and fire valiantly at 108 kills, 109 kills, it looked like. Firing into these Balearic slingers who are out of ammo. But I don't believe it. I believe he just locked them into melee because they only have 22 kills, and for a Balearic slinger to only have 22 kills isn't right. So, and since he's retreating them, I would imagine that he's trying to fool us by saying that he has no ammunition on those units. So, gotta look at the kill count, make sure that they're not just trying to trick you into not firing here. The militia hoplites have finally been beaten out, and we have Celtic warriors and Iberian swords now holding the line against that push from Syracuse, Egypt, and now a few Seleucidian units. The Persian light archers here, out of ammo. Again, I think they were the same ones that were standing right here. More Persian light archers moving up. These ones do have ammo, and since they're a lightly armored unit, they would be a good one to fire on. They're a very, very light unit, light archer unit, lighter than most because they don't even have a shield, which most archers don't. Most slingers have shields though. These ones have no shields. Archer has no shields, but their armor is only 10, which is extremely low. And look at this, Balearic slingers. Nope, they're not going to let that fire come from them, the archers. They're going to line up right there and just start tearing away at those archer units. Already 123 kills and still firing. Now going to take a volley from the other Balearic slingers, the Balearic slingers on the other side of the fight, which did still have ammunition, as I said. I think he was trying to fool us by sending them into melee, so I was right. Now we have some Nubian bowmen moving up. Swords, 81 kills. They have swords out and are officially out of ammunition. The Egyptian infantry. Okay, there was some more Egyptian infantry. Earlier I said I only see one Egyptian infantry left, but there was a few more apparently, if they weren't already in the fight. I just missed them. Over here we have a Massilian cab is now out there. 89 kills on this Massilian cap, so very good job by Massilia to use their general. Put their general out there at risk. Normally that's one you hold in reserve. Don't use it too much. Back here, most of Lusitani's forces still in reserve, as well as a lot of chosen swords waiting back a little ways to charge in. However, Massilia has fully committed here with their thorax swords and are just going all in against the Egyptian charge. And whoever else tries to scale the siege towers right here. Got some Iberian swords and some Cimmerian heavy archers still in the fight. Going into melee, they have 164, and they've got a 20 weapon damage, 18 melee attack, because they have level 1 chevron, 20 melee defense, 35 armor, 55 health, 56 morale, 8 charge bonus. I don't know. They're going to be like relatively decent in hand-to-hand, but they're going to be nothing special. Like way worse than a Celtic warrior, but a whole lot better than some. So now we have the Cimmerian heavy infantry moving up, and it's moving forward. We still have 4 of the Cimmerian heavy archers in reserve. So those are still, as I mentioned, the deadliest archers in the game, or probably the deadliest archers in the game. And so they're going to be quite dangerous here. These ones out of ammo, 91, 71, because I did not use them effectively. They don't have a ton of kills, but they are quite good. Here we have a mercenary Cappadocian cavalry, and it's going to get charged by the Massilians, by the Massilian general. He's going to risk his general in on this attack, and here it comes. Going to use the Intimidate to get the morale down, and then just going to give it that charge with no counter charge. Those mercenary Cappadocians kind of live or die on their charge bonus, 38. As with most cav units, they're going to live or die, sink or swim on whether or not they get that charge. And I see morale drop to yellow, but is now going to start building again after recovering the shock of that initial charge. It looks like he's going to send some spears over. Send the Galatian spears to get rid of the Massilian general. Okay, over here. Defenders still holding this breach now with some chosen swords. Going to get in on the action now as Araverni is going to go aggressive and actually push out. You can see he's turning his flank of that unit to the javelin volleys, the thorax there. And he really pushed on that one. Ended up losing about 15 men for about 60 kills and climbing now, but he's going to take a ton of javelin volleys from those thorax of Seleucid, as well as some fire from the Balearic slingers. And look at that, all the attack on the breach ended for the mid-tier units, or the low-tier units, the hillmen, and the Egyptian infantry. It's over now, and the thorax, the heavy infantry, is going to try to take the breach. And it looks like we got some Samnites moving up to help. Oh, Nope, those are thorax. Why did I say Samnites? Okay, I'm getting Egypt and Syracuse mixed up. We do have some Samnites moving up, though. I'm not entirely wrong. I was just looking at the wrong banners. So the Samnites are moving up, and as well as some thorax. The thorax is going to hang back, get rid of their javelins, and then charge in. The chosen sword should beat at least one of the thorax, but because he's outnumbered 2-1, it's not going to work out quite as well as I think. The Celtic warriors here moving up to get some javelin volleys in, possibly, unless they're out of javelins, which is totally possible considering how many times or how many volleys they used on the siege towers, on the attacks on the siege towers. It does appear as though they are out of javelin volleys, and he might just cycle charge them in and out to slow down those thorax. Here, these Cimmerian heavy archers, I think, are the ones that were out of ammo. Yeah, they are. And the Balearic slingers, they have still ammunition. 171 on the Balearic slingers, and they still have ammunition. I mean, this is crazy. This guy is an expert of how to use the Balearic slingers to their maximum potential. I mean, he is just tearing through enemy ranks. There's here now a Thurio spear. I don't know what that Thurio spear was doing. Maybe some of the Balearic slingers left the walls. I think they did. It looks as though they may have left the walls and were like standing like right where this Thurio spear is now, firing into the enemy. So they chased them off. These guys have 0 kills, which is like crazy. Because the way he's using these guys, he's going to have a ton on the units before it's all said and done. And here they go onto the walls, and they're going to start wreaking havoc in the enemy lines, just like they have been doing before. Just like their fellow units have been doing. Got those Thurio spears. Could start shooting into the back of those Thurio spears. Would be nice. If he opens fire, I don't know. He's holding fire as of right now, despite having ammunition, because his swords aren't drawn. But maybe he's waiting for his other unit to get in position. Okay, now we have some volleys coming from the mercenary Gallic hunters into the packed ranks right here of Syracuse and Seleucid. And wow, it's just mowing them down, really. 30 kills, 12 kills. Here we have some Cimmerian heavy archers, 190 kills, but I believe they're out of ammo. Yes, they are. They have spears out, so they are out of ammo. So 3 Cimmerian heavy archers up here out of ammo. The thorax swords holding just fine. Oh my, got Galatia in the back. Okay, that's what the breach was for here. He brought the breach. Here, he brought the ballista, made the breach in the back. I don't know how he got clear around like that. Somehow, he's gotten around without any of us noticing. He's going to attack Lusitani in the back, and those Galatian legionnaires are losing so far to the veteran shield warriors, but they have some help from some Celtic skirmishers here. And those veteran shield warriors are just holding their ground. Here they are 11 kills, but they're outnumbered 2-1. Can't imagine. Oh no, sorry, there is 2 veteran shield warriors there. Cimmerian moving up some infantry there. I mean, wow. Good move there by Galatia. Okay, so he's got quite a few units in the walls. 2 Galatian legionnaires, 2 Celtic skirmishers, the mercenary Cappadocian Cav, as well as now a Galatian spear coming in. And the Cimmerian noble infantry now moving to help those Lusitani veteran shield warriors, because veteran shield warriors can't hold in combat too long. They don't want to hold in combat too long because they like their charge bonus. They get a huge bonus in charge. 30 charge bonus, yeah. So they prefer to charge. Now the Cimmerian heavy archers firing into the backs. 21 kills. Looks like we got a Cimmerian heavy infantry moving up to stall there. Wow. 1 kill, 24 kills there. Cimmerian noble infantry going to do the wall climb and come up behind the units of the enemy here. That's always a fun move. Wall climb. All of a sudden you show up right behind the enemy, and then they're like, what is going on here? So Gonna go over here, which is probably a good idea because you want to get rid of this arrow tower. You want to neutralize it if you can, but you also want to get the rear charge. Gonna fight those Galatian spears, and those Galatian spears don't stand a chance against that Cimmerian heavy or Cimmerian noble infantry because those Cimmerians are a much better unit. However, they will get some Celtic skirmishers to fire into like the flank here of the Cimmerians, and that is, oof, it's the shield side, but it's still running damage. 10 kills already on these units. However, the Galatian spears are not going to hold long against that superior unit here. The general for Cimmeria has gotten into the fight and is fighting alongside those veteran shield warriors who are just decimated by that the charge of those Galatian legionnaires. Here, Cimmerian nobles at 11 kills. However, the Galatian legionnaires did pay for it with, now it looks like they're on route, and the Cimmerian archers now firing into those Celtic skirmishers to get them to stop firing into the side of the Cimmerian noble infantry. Now this tower neutralized and Galatian spears routed, we're going to see Cimmeria turn around and rear charge this Galatian legionnaires. So good move there by Galatia, but it got shut down there by Lusitani and then reinforced by Cimmeria. And the defenders were just a little too coordinated there to let that attack in the back phase them. 49 kills on these Cimmerians, and they're in shield wall. They need to come out of shield wall if they want to get their charge bonus, but it looks like they're not going to. They're just going to advance at a crawl, and they're just, because I am really bad at this game, so I'm just going to advance them at a crawl. I'm not going to do anything special. Okay, there we go. Now I took them out of shield wall, or hoplite wall. Now I'm going to rear charge those units which are already pretty much routing, and that's going to end them being sandwiched between that noble infantry, which is a very good infantry unit. Okay, here they've completely abandoned the idea of the siege towers. They're going all in on this breach because they have captured part of it, but they're just going to continue to run into resistance here as the thorax swords from Massilia are shutting them down there. However, we do have a thorax swords did manage to get through here on the wall climb and is engaging the rear guard of those thorax for Massilia. Over here, the Balearic slingers doing their part still, 77, 34, 41. These Cimmerian heavy archers are way out of range, I believe. They have a 150 range, but I don't think that's quite enough. However, the Gallic hunters are in range and are opening fire there. That Samnite warrior's out of it. And wow. The balance of power bar has really shifted in favor of the defenders now, and moving to retake his tower with the Cimmerian general. Yeah. That was good move by Galatia. Kind of a good move, kind of a bad move. It was a good move in that it kind of took us all off guard. I remember looking and being like, oh, we got Galatian legionnaires behind us, and that's when I started shifting all my units back there. Lusitani was not yet engaged. I don't think he noticed it. I was like pinging it like crazy. I mean, there's like 50 pings. For those of you who play or don't play the Rome 2, it's like a giant yellow arrow, and it tells your team, look here, because there's a huge problem. But yeah, most of you probably knew that. Anyway, yeah, it was like covered with pings. Like this whole corner was just covered with yellow with the pings. And I was like, guys, should we be doing something about this? And nobody responded by moving any infantry or anything. So I started shifting my whole units over there. And I think that's when they noticed it. They're like, oh, great. We got units behind us. And thankfully, we were able to cut it down. But yeah, good move by Galatia in that it caught us off guard. And bad move by Galatia that it was kind of away from his team. If he'd had a little more reinforcements and maybe a couple Seleucidian units, a full push, maybe 20 units or so from the combined arms, and pushed it all 20 units in at once, it would have caught us very much off guard and probably would have been the end of us. But it failed. We were able to cut it down, thankfully, and now it forces the enemy to go full into this breach here. These Cimmerian heavy archers at 195 and doing decent in melee. I mean, they're even against Samnite warriors or thorax swords and picked hoplites. However, they do have help of veteran shield warriors. So technically, since they're even, it means they're not fighting that much. The Blerick Slingers continuing to wreak havoc. I mean, they are just destroying. These ones not out of ammunition. I mean, these guys still have ammunition. Their swords are not yet drawn. And they have 174 kills on these Cimmerian heavy archers. Gonna try now. Seleucid tried to get up on the walls and do some damage there, but it looks like they got intercepted by a Celtic warrior. Now rear fire coming from the Gallic hunters, and that is just gonna be devastating to the attackers. That's gonna be 2 more thorax that they're gonna have to fight without. The Persian light archers doing decent, 41 and 54 kills. The Syrian archers are out of ammunition. These are the ones that had 123 kills and they're out. The Nubian bowmen over here doing good, 80 and 68. They're firing probably, if I had to guess, no, they're firing into the Blerick Slingers. I'd say they're firing into Lusitani's main units because Lusitani, low armor, is generally very high pick for archers of any kind, of archers from the attacking team, so the other team, because they only have like a 30 armor on their veteran shield warriors, and their heaviest unit of Lusitani nobles only has 45 armor, which is very low for a unit. I mean, like, even the Cimmerian noble infantry has 80 armor, so double that, just shy of double that. The Oathsworn with 80 armor, so yeah, that's very low armor. So now it looks like we're gonna have a full rout there, and except for the picked hoplites and the generals are holding on in the attack. The Royal Thorax, the Galatian noblemen, the picked hoplites, the elite units of the games are still holding on. I don't know if you would consider Galatian noblemen elite, but good enough. Now we have Samnite or Thorax swords in rout. The picked hoplites on the fringe there, about to go down. The Royal Thorax swords holding on still. And yeah, that's it. It's going to be a defender win. Unless some miraculous way the attackers can rally the last of their troops and through some bizarre turn of strategy, just like turn the tide. Yeah. So, take a look at the statistics here. So for Cimmeria, oh wait, we got not Cimmeria at top. Okay, we have Gallix as Araverni here, and he's going to do 6 kills on his Oathsworn, but it wasn't engaged. Got no losses, it looks like, on the power bar, so very, well, I'm not going to say very good. But because he didn't lose anybody, it was never really engaged, so, yeah. The archers did good, with no losses, no real losses here. The Celtic warriors did exceptional. 101, 200, 91, very high kill counts there. 98, 76, these 23 and 47, kind of the black sheep of the deal. The chosen swords didn't really engage. So 110 being the highest of those, because that was like the only one that apparently engaged. Looks like one other one might have engaged. The rest of them were just killing people that routed. Then the Naked Warriors, 101. Good job on the Naked Warriors. Then we have Craig T, 96. He's going to be Massilia. 114 on his general, so good job by the general. Mercenary Gallic Archers, or Gallic Hunters, 92, 71, and 71, so decent there on those units. The Celtic Warriors did good here. 130, 162, 103. These two here, 51 and 45, Black Sheep. I can't just say they all have over 100, because there's got to be always this 1 or 2 units that just don't get that many kills. And then the Hoplites, 28 and 9, but they didn't really engage. Levy Freeman, 45, good job on that cheap unit to get kills. The Thorax, the Massilian Thurio Spears, 30 and 88, so I mean, balanced, I should say. The Thorax Swords then did great as well. Total Wars here, Cimmeria. That is me. I mean, yeah, he did the worst. He's horrible at this game. He doesn't know what he's doing. 41 on his general there. 81. 199 on this archer. This archer did the best. 44. 13. However, didn't really do full engagement. 107. So okay there. 155 and 76 on the heavy Cimmerian noble infantry. And then militia hoplites. He has 10 militia hoplites. 107 being the best of those. So, That's pretty good on that cheap unit. However, the rest of them were about 30 kills, 20 to 30 kills apiece. So yeah, and then Mr. M Dash, and this is going to be Lusitani. Yeah, 50 kills on his general there, 133. Great job by the Balearic Slingers. All 4 of those Balearic Slingers did exceptional. The Veteran Shield Warriors did decent there, and then the Iberian Swords, again, whoa. 182 on that Iberian Sword. It was really cutting through some enemies for that cheap unit. Good job on that cheap unit right there. Then we have Dame Jovi Dench for the attackers, and he's going to be Syracuse. He's going to have 23 and 2 kills on his ballista teams, 63 on his hoplites, on his picked hoplites, 72 and 2 on his Balearic Slingers, so decent there. The Mercenary Samnite Warriors did their job here, all over 100 kills. I can say that there's no black sheep in this thing. I can even say all over 150 kills. I can say all over 160 kills. I mean, it just keeps going. Then we have 2 Thurios Spears at 60, 95, 46, so decent there on the Thurios Spears. Then we have Military Fairy, is Galatia, and he did 224 on his general, 0 on his ballista, 90 on his Cappadocian Cavalry, 28, 21, and 0 on his Celtic Skirmishers. 105, 123, and 56 on his Syrian Archers. And good job by the Archers there. And then the Heavy Infantry, this one being the best at 201, only 2 others being decent. And then we have a Galatian Spears, and it did really, really bad. No, but it was fighting a Cimmerian Noble Infantry, so you can't really blame it. Then we have Legion 93, and he's going to be Egypt for the attackers. And 21 on his General, 2 on his Ballista. Decent on the archers there. The Egyptian infantry did good for its low cost. And then the thorax swords, just kind of all around. You can't really go wrong with a thorax. 17 here for Infinitix. 30 Tixig. Infinitix G 37. I apologize if I got your name wrong. 17 on his Ajima Cavalry, 123 on his Ballista. So, like, he was really chewing through some enemies with his Ballista there. The Archers did okay. The Hillmen did good for their price. That's all I'm going to say on those. And then, again, Thorax Swords, kind of hard to go wrong with those. Yeah. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, yada, yada, yada. Just like everybody else would say. I'm going to do all that boring stuff. Yeah. But it really helps out, and thanks for watching.